All right, Wilson, let's get the day started. Downtown Billings, 628, 40 degrees outside. This time next week, it'll be a little different because of the clock change, but right now it's the same as we look at First News. Fair, accurate, you get the damn truth. Israel concentrated some more bombardments of Lebanon and mostly the country's south and east parts overnight. They are Shiite majority areas where Hezbollah, terrorist groups, and others have a strong presence. Some thought it was a traditionally safe area. But once again, Israel has vowed to once and for all wipe out the terroristic threats against their people and really all the Jewish people around the world as they continue to do the dirty work. Vice President Kamala Harris has a lot of work to do. Today, she's going out and pledged to America that she will work to improve their lives. Now, she's been in office with the current president for almost 4 years. Donald Trump also hitting the campaign trail today, hitting some of the big states up for grabs, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. We're 1 week out today. Harris will be near the White House today. She's trying to encourage Americans to visualize their future of her standing there in the Oval Office. As the world becomes more and more unstable over these last few years, another sign, North Korea. North Korea said today their top diplomat is visiting Russia as they continue to deepen their relations against Western nations. They have sent thousands of troops to Russia to assist them now in their warfighting in the Ukraine. Folks, this has changed now, the scope and the picture going on in Ukraine, as we are now having numerous nations join in the actual fighting against other countries. North Korea's official news agency said the delegation, new one, was sent there to Russia yesterday. Korea has sent 10,000 of their troops into Russia. They're training to fight against the Ukraine and will be used in the next several weeks. The end of one of the world's deadliest and most shattering wars is difficult to predict now. A large peacekeeping force that was there, that was meant to contain it, is now leaving. That was in the Congo. Everybody wants their mineral-rich lands because of the demand now for battery materials and other things with policies around the world for electric vehicles. And they are fighting, they are killing, and they are calling on for more armies to take control of their mines. 14,000 peacekeepers on the UN have been in grounds there for years, and now looks like they're going to pull up and leave. Government denies that they are equipping some of these militants with the hardware needed to take over the mines, but it's melee in Congo, and the people are suffering. 80% of their people now desperate in the Congo. Longtime Donald Trump ally Steve Bannon has been released from prison. That's right. They sent him there for 4 months, defying a subpoena at the U.S. Capitol. Now, we have a lot of people, including our Attorney General and others, that have defied the subpoenas from our House Judiciary Committee right now that have subpoenaed them to testify in front of Jim Jordan and others in Congress. They defied the subpoenas. They didn't get prison time. One of Donald Trump's guys got it, and he served it. He said, I'll go to prison, and he did. He served 4 months at the Federal Correction Institution in Danbury, Connecticut. He's got a news conference planned for today. Then he will resume his podcast that he has been doing. A jury convicted him because he didn't sit for a deposition in front of the committee. And they said, fine, you're going to define our subpoena. We will send you to jail. And they did. Pope Francis Child Protection Board has issued its first ever global assessment of the Catholic Church's efforts to address clergy sex abuse. The board called Tuesday for victims of clergy abuse to have greater access to information about their cases, and not only that, the right to compensation. The Commission for Protection for Minors called for greater transparency in this Vatican sex abuse office. The office's slow processing of cases and secrecy were re-traumatizing the victims, and it said its refusal to publish statistics or its own jurisprudence continues to foment distrust among their faithful, especially the victims in that survivor community. We told you about arson fires showing up at ballot boxes, Oregon, Washington. Reminder that these will be subject to threats coming into the election. prompting distrust, too, among voters all across America. 27 states and the District of Columbia allow these ballot drop-off boxes just about anywhere. 6 others don't have a specific law. There are 6 states that ban them entirely. They don't want to have to worry about drop boxes or tampering. But it's happening already 2 this week, Oregon, Washington. Stubbornly high warranty expenses and some cost-cutting efforts are holding back Ford Motor Company's profits. It caused the company to lower their full-year earnings guidance, and it pushed their stock down 6% yesterday. The automaker reported third-quarter earnings after the markets closed, but said their net profit tumbled 26%. It took $1 billion in accounting charges to write down the assets for a canceled 3-row electric SUV. Ford said they only made $892 million from July through September. That was $1.2 billion from a year ago, as the electric vehicle mandates, folks, put on by whom you vote for on these companies are killing them, and they're struggling. Value meals actually helped turn McDonald's U.S. sales around in the third quarter, but that recovery could be dented by the E. coli outbreak. See, that happened just as their quarterly earnings were coming in. McDonald's said Tuesday that their U.S. same-store sales were up 0.3% July through September. Revenue was up 3%, $6.87 billion, as McDonald's relaunched their $5 value meal in June, and it said the value message resonated with their consumers. But last week, they had to pull their quarter pounders off the menu because of the E. coli outbreak, but that won't be any of the profit notes until the next quarter numbers come out. U.S. Treasury Department is trying to keep the Chinese military from gaining our advanced technologies and secrets, and they're monitoring American investments in China, artificial intelligence, computer chips, quantum computing. This all brought on by an order in 2023 that wants to limit the access of countries of concern. Those countries right now include Hong Kong, China, a few others. The Biden administration yesterday awarded $3 billion to boost climate-friendly equipment used in our ports. This after the deadly bridge collapse. What the hell? Put it into bridge engineering, construction, and maintenance. Nope. The bridge collapse, they didn't do that. They put it into climate-friendly equipment used in infrastructure projects, folks, across the country. $3 billion. There are newspaper owners across the country now, folks, that have been ditching their presidential endorsements, figuring they shouldn't alienate readers with something most of them don't care about. The reason they are doing it, folks, is because people that disagree with the opinions that come every Friday from Mary Sheehy Schmo and others, they are washing their hands of their newspapers.
Exactly right.
They're canceling subscriptions. They're not doing it anymore. That's why. Don't sell me a bill of goods. Well, we want to remain neutral. No, you don't.
No, because I've read your paper, and nothing in your paper is neutral.
Thousands and thousands of canceled subscriptions are having them and journalists worrying about their jobs. How could that be? You journalists are so unbiased and trained at colleges to be neutral and fair.
A guy as smart as you will never get fired.
Absolutely. That's why, folks. That's why. Global shares were mostly up so far this morning. Stocks were higher yesterday. We saw some big tech companies gain. Oil prices tanked 6% yesterday, but they went up a little bit this morning. They added 18 cents to close at $71.60 a barrel on the world market. U.S. crude yesterday at $67.53 a barrel, but we should see some relief coming in the next few weeks at the pumps. Got a U.S. jobs report scheduled for Friday. Once again, I will go into the Labor Statistics Bureau and get those numbers for you and tell you what the real numbers are, rather than listening to Color 8, Q2, or watching the paper's story on them. Trump Media and Technology was up 21% on Monday. Delta Airlines was a big winner. They were up 2.3%. They announced yesterday they're suing CrowdStrike They were the ones that technology companies shut down and canceled thousands and thousands of flights across America. They're being sued. All told, the S&P was up 15 points. The Dow added 273. NASDAQ was up 45 points yesterday. There was a report in the paper this morning about tourist spending in Montana. Tourists spent $5.82 billion in Montana over the last 2 years when it comes to tourism. And obviously, Glacier and Yellowstone Park got the bulk of it. $1.95 billion and $1.36 billion added together. So that's a big draw. Surprisingly, Flathead County received the most travel spending. They got over $1 billion in each one of those years. Gallatin County was second, $964 million. Missoula County third, $489, and then Yellowstone County, over 2 years, $446 million in tourist spending. But you got to keep in mind, too, we closed down the most iconic tourist feature that we have here in Billings over the busiest travel weekend of the year, and that's 4th of July.
Very true.
We should keep that open, too. But
Imagine if 5% of that was a sales tax.
yes, imagine that. And there was a rare dime whose whereabouts had remained a mystery since the 70s. Well, it is just sold. $500,000. The coin was struck by the U.S. Mint in San Francisco in 1975. It depicts Franklin Roosevelt. It's one of just two known to exist without the distinctive S mint mark on the dime. Auction House Collection said the coin sold for $506,000 and concluded Sunday. 3 sisters from Ohio inherited that dime after the death of their brother. He kept it in a bank vault for 40 years. And as soon as he wasn't even stiff. He wasn't even stiff yet. They didn't even put the needle in his arm yet, Mark, to fill him up with good stuff. And the sisters already were auctioning off his crap. What a dime. Brought it. I got 3 sisters like that.
True.
And that's why I want to die first. Just kidding. But anyway, it brought over $500,000. Cat Country News Time is 6:42. Sports and weather coming up.
In sports, a couple things. They unveiled the statue of Dwayne Wade outside of where he played, and they took off the cover, and everybody thought the same thing. That doesn't look anything like him.
They must have got a deal on it or something.
Well, it was supposed to commemorate how he looked when he hit a shot against the Bulls in 2009 and won a double overtime game. Different artist. You need a different artist because that wasn't even close.
Nope. They should have had Bill Raines do it.
Yeah.
You can look at that. Nobody will know who that is without reading the plaque below it.
That's right.
When they see it, it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
And God, there were guys, folks, that chipped out 4 iconic faces in the face of a mountain just east of here, about 400 miles, and you can tell who those people are.
Yeah.
This guy,
Not even close.
no, do not hire him to paint your kitchen.
Also, I watched ESPN for 45 minutes. The longest breakup I can ever remember was only about 10 minutes. Mark, I'm moving on. You suck. I'm sick of you. 45 minutes yesterday. It took ESPN to break up with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. They are done.
Are they?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Biggest
wow.
mistake in sports history, biggest failure.
Boy.
And in a related note, we should fire some of the Chicago Bears coaches because of that player who was talking smack as the play started, and then tipped the ball to the guy who caught it and cost him the game.
That wasn't the coaches.
No.
The coaches don't teach them.
No, Paul?
What is Mark?
Also, I'm a big fan of calling for people's jobs.
Yeah.
I want you and your wife and kids to not be able to eat.
That's right. Emeny. 48 degrees today, folks. Had a little rain last night. Be a little cooler the next 2 days. Our average temperature this time of year is about 53. Well, that's where we're going to be on Thursday and Friday, right at average. 50s over the weekend. Hell, we've had worse end of October, first parts of November, folks. So
we have.
We can take this kind of stuff anytime. 40 degrees out there right now at 6:45, and that's what's happening. Mark and Paul here together. We got you covered. Thanks for tuning into The Cat.